A factory-like game could be interesting on its own, but this one is also an exploration game. You can head down into the dungeons or just wander around the surface where there's plenty of content too. Last time we got monster spawning working with the day-night cycle and lighting, so now it's time to make fighting them possible. Every monster has a handful of simple stats that make each type feel unique. Speed decides how fast they move, strength determines how hard they hit, friction controls how quickly they come to a stop once they reach the player, and health is just health. Then there's the AI type. Right now there are 3: neutral, tanky, and cowardly. Neutral monsters like the piglet you can hunt for food, just wander around aimlessly and never attack. Tanky monsters are the melee guys. They close the distance as fast as they can and try to smack you. Cowardly ones are ranged attackers like the skeleton that throws bones. They try to keep their distance so they can keep shooting safely. Each monster also has a health value that gets displayed as a little progress bar on top of it the moment it takes damage. When health drops to 0, the monster dies, spawns some death particles for a nice visual pop, and then drops whatever is in its loot table. The loot table is just an array of custom loot resources. Each one says which item should drop, the maximum amount that can drop, and the chance of it actually appearing. So for example, skeletons might drop bones and piglets might drop meat. For melee attacks, I built a small custom node. At the root, there is a node 2D that sits at the attacker's hand position. Inside that is a pivot node 2D that rotates toward the target. And inside the pivot is an area 2D with a capsule collision shape 2D. By the way, every monster and the player also has its own hitbox. That's just another area 2D that sits on their body so the game knows when something actually touches them. When the attack happens, the attack area 2D turns on for a split second, catches every other area 2D that overlaps it, and fires the area entered signal. From there, it's straightforward. If the thing that entered is a monster or the player, we subtract health and apply knockback. There's also a cooldown timer to prevent spamming of attacks. The same timer drives the little progress bar you see above the player when you swing. Ranged attacks are a bit simpler. Same basic structure, but without the pivot or area. Just a raycast that checks line of sight to the player. If something is blocking the shot, the monster will actually try to walk around and get a better angle instead of just standing there. Once it has a clear shot, it fires a projectile. You can obtain bones from killing skeletons, and grenades, you craft them from raw materials. Both of them can be used by monsters or the player. Projectiles also get some nice extra polish. They spawn particles when they are thrown towards enemies, and every action has its own sound effect. The bow has a string release sound. The grenade makes an explosion sound. And melee swings have a nice whoosh. Weapons themselves are pretty simple. They are basically just a list of stats. Every weapon has a damage value and a knockback value. For melee, it's the same damage every swing. For ranged, the final damage actually depends on the projectile's momentum when it hits. Slow projectile does less, fast projectile does more. Knockback pushes the target away from the attacker. Higher numbers mean the monster flies farther, which feels really satisfying when you land a good hit. Melee weapons also have a quick swing animation covering around 60 degrees of the area in the direction of the enemy. Bows have a little pop scale animation when you fire. And bows need arrows, of course. If you run out, you get a clear out of ammo sound, so you immediately know what happens. The grenade is probably my favorite projectile so far. It can bounce off walls without exploding right away. It has a 3-second fuse, or it can explode instantly the moment it touches an enemy. When it finally goes off, it destroys nearby interactors like chests and pushes everything in a big radius. I also needed a new rare monster, a grenadier guy. He is inspired by a game you might know called Bomberman. He spawns pretty infrequently because his attack is strong and it can damage your factory pretty badly. I also keep him slow so it's easy to escape his powerful attack. So that's combat in its current state. Monsters that feel different from each other thanks to their stats and AI types, melee and ranged systems that work together, weapons with meaningful stats, loot drops on death, and a couple of fun projectiles that can change how you fight. The world finally pushes back when you go exploring. Next time, the video could be about the UI or maybe saving and loading of save files. Thanks for watching.